Howdy, everybody. Welcome this Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, to the pregame live show versus Temple. I'm your host, OUFlagGuy, and I'm joined by Gavin tonight. Gavin, how are you doing, buddy? How's everything been going since last week? Everything going well?
Everything's going well. It's finally hear your voice at full strength. Finally, I'm just telling you, you needed a rest after what happened with the last live stream.
Absolutely. Like my voice finally is back to 100% as of today. I was at about 90% yesterday, but I just need a little bit more rest, just a little bit more like not using my voice to like in extreme measures or anything. And yeah, we're back to it. We're back not sounding raspy or sounding like a horse or anything at this point. Are you still celebrating our Michigan win?
Uh, I've kind of just gone over it and just tried to look forward to the next for this week, honestly, because you can only take it so far and everything to where okay, there's still a whole lot of season left, and honestly, and I'm just gonna say this, looking at the schedule. Ooh, that's just only one little tiny peak to a rest of the mountains that we're gonna have to climb up over, on the Mount Everest of uh, college football teams this year.
Absolutely. And as Sean has said, it's a lot easier to say that, this is not the penultimate of the season. This is just one challenge that we wanted to like rally around and focus on more of the season at that point. But as it stands right now, OU still did overcome one hurdle and it was still a pretty tough hurdle at this point. I would say I've been riding the Michigan win just a little bit from it, probably until I was fully healed with my voice, and then afterwards, it's as Brent said this week, onwards to Temple at this point, which it's definitely going to be one of those games where you have to make sure that you are encouraging and making sure like you're keeping the players motivated because after such an emotional win against Michigan, not that it's a rivalry game, but just all the pomp and circumstances around it, you don't want to like lull too much, even though it is just Temple. Like there is some like how much are we going to go back into playing conservative this week? Are we going to be very very like low key? Who are we going to rest for like guys? What guys are going to be resting? What is the game plan going to be roll out? Because even though Temple is going to be better than they were last year, and as it stands right now, like total offense and total defense, like Temple is like a top 20 team in both. You have to really realize like who they have faced at this point, and
They,
it's not anybody spectacular. Um, it is very much low key teams. This isn't your average like UCF team or anything this year. This is just a Temple's Owl team that's probably getting a big old reality check because I mean the two opponents they have faced so far are UMass, which are you ass at this point, like how bad they
yeah,
are, and then they face Howard, and they got obliterated by Howard,
yeah, and
or Howard
honestly,
got obliterated by him.
yeah, Howard got obliterated, if anything, too. So this is like going to be basically like the first actual true test for Temple, and I hate saying that. You expect OU to win, yes, but at the point too, you're also at the point to where you don't want to be overlooking, next week into Auburn, because once you start overlooking, then you're gonna start letting things slip into what's happening for this week, and that is basically the dangerous territory that you're in. Is falling into the sort of trap mindset. You know,
Sure, sure, and that's something to keep in mind too. That I would say Illinois State was almost like they treated it like a scrimmage and was using it definitely for resting guys in preparation for Michigan. This one, I'm not going to say it's a scrimmage one, but it's not something that they're going to be opening the playbook for. This is not something that John Mateer needs to put his foot on the pedal and lead the team down the field. This is going to be something of this might be over by halftime at this point. I think I've seen more
eh,
tweets at this point of trying to stir controversy when they caught, I think it was, I want to say it was Thune. saying on a hot mic during like the OU presser, like Temple sucks. Oh,
Yeah,
they said they sucked. How disrespectful! Like, but they do. Like, I'm sorry. That's the nature of it. I'm sorry that we don't care that your team's not that good.
and
I think there's more controversy that of like which Sooner fans are traveling up to Philadelphia versus the actual game itself.
yeah, and I even seen like Toby Rowland, trying to posted out tweets of like people that are traveling from like so many different states and stuff like that and everything else so too. It's like trying to find basically something you can really dig into, for all this, for content purposes and stuff like that and everything, which it's like hard to really do. I mean, as much as I will say from a game plan sort of standpoint, you know and this is something I'm just going to kind of go off of as something to kind of keep my eye on. I want to be able to kind of see getting a little bit more, some more touches and some more experience to where we can get some more confidence within our O line, because
Sure.
that's going to be the biggest thing, if you want going into the next week. Because that D line of Auburn, that is, probably one of the tough D lines right next to our own D line. If anything, I would say, if anything, that this is going to be a week to where our O line, especially within the running game, has to really step up, for helping out with our running backs. As much as I love him
Yeah.
here running the ball and everything, we cannot be able to do +1, with him running the ball and expect him to lead through to the SEC. Because and especially in a dominant league, how it is, especially going to be going up against LSU, South Carolina, Texas, especially, we can't rely on Mateer being the leading rusher week in and week out.
Correct. And if anything, you can use this game as a not necessarily a bounce back, but a game to like try some new, I'm not going to say routes or and try some new plays, but you can use it definitely to like really focus on shoring up the run game, really focusing on like getting special teams improved upon. There's what things that you can do with this game while also like you still got to walk out there with a W. I know people may be a little bit worried that the line has been going down from something like 25 down to 21, but it's less about OU for that. It's more about will Temple cover the spread because to OU's to their credit right now, OU hasn't scored over 40 points. But I expect that to change this game. I expect it to be like a 48 type of game. But to their credit, that's what Vegas is seeing for
Y-
that. And I also expect like OU to probably like rest a couple guys again from like the Michigan game at that point. Do a tiny bit more experimentation, get a tiny bit more stuff to get ready for Auburn the following week. I agree with you not to look ahead, but at the same time, it's like how at some point it's like what happened with Illinois State, where they're going to hit the wall and they may come out fist flying, and then the talent is going to overcome that very, very fast. I just don't see Temple doing any type of outside like maybe a trickery play or any type of momentum against the defense. And I also don't think they're talented enough on their offensive side of the ball to do anything against OU.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. And it's interesting too because, with the last couple of games and everything, the defense has become really much of the identity for the Sooners team. And, with Venable's background and everything of how he's been and everything too, I really have a hard time seeing this Temple offense really trying to do anything of that sort. And
Yeah.
honestly, I have a hard time because it's like, I am just not sure if Temple fans are even really going to be wanting to show up, for this game, if anything, too. Even though this
Correct.
game is being played at Philly and everything, which, Philadelphia loves their football and they've got a, former Sooner with the Eagles and everything and all that. That, of course, I'll debate with Alabama fans, for however long that goes on.
Well, Jalen Hurts right
But,
now is up for adoption for saying roll
exactly.
Sooners during the game against the Cowboys. Like that's a fireable offense right there.
Yeah, it is. But I will say though, but to the point too, it's like I have a hard time seeing, people wanting to get invested in Temple, into all of this as well. So I kind of see this more as a good opportunity to where, you know, you have a big brand and everything, and you're probably gonna be seeing a lot of maybe a few fans sprinkled in there and everything, but I just do not see home field advantage going for Temple at all whatsoever.
Yeah, and something to keep in mind as well going into this particular game. We've mentioned the run game and we've also mentioned the special teams, but you know what? This is a great opportunity for, in addition as well, to like letting the young guys, the young pups, like get some experience and stuff as well, especially as we start SEC play next week, is to focus on building up confidence for turnovers. You mentioned it in the Michigan live post game live stream, and I agree with you. We're -4 on the year, even though we've been consistent of -2 per game. We need to change that route, and I do think this is going to be something that they're going to be experimenting on to try to build up like what they can utilize against other teams, especially going forward the following week at this point.
And I think part of the other issue too is like, and I hate saying that they were trying to play conservative defensively because they really weren't. I mean, even like Gentry Williams, he had a chance to pick off Bryce Williams after, he misread the, I guess, an option route, where his receiver did a hitch and he basically threw a streak route and everything. Gentry Williams was the only one there and just basically dropped it. So it's like, there has been opportunities to where there has been a chance for turnovers, but it
Yeah,
just has not been able to capitalize. Now, and I hate to say where they're being basically being conservative, but it's kind of into this point to where it's been this sort of bend but not really breaking sort of defense in a sense, to where
yeah,
they're not trying to basically let the big plays beat them, but just making sure everybody's kind of staying in front and swarming to the ball. That's
yeah,
kind of what I've been seeing within the last 2 weeks. Now with Michigan and Illinois State, you had basically had to do that because those sort of style of offenses were more towards tailored, within the physical running game and keeping everything in front of you to where they didn't really have to throw the ball as much. But
yeah.
when you kind of get into this point to where you're going to have the teams that are going to be doing more aggressive, through the air and everything else though too, you're going to have to make sure that you keep on the aggressive side of things. That's going to be the
Sure.
biggest change.
Sure. And I know a lot of people think this is one of those games that could be a letdown game. I don't see that way. I mean, I just don't see Temple putting up. I like they're not the worst team on our schedule. Kent State is
Yeah, Kent State,
far
yeah.
by far. That it's not I mean, people have asked too, like, why are we even playing this game up in Philadelphia? It's for recruiting purposes, guys. That's literally putting the OU brand out there. It's a destination trip like we've always had, not necessarily like for non-conference, like a Michigan for it. It's not the game. It's just to get people up there. And that's what it is. I mean, I think people are more excited to go to Philadelphia and see the sights and everything up there and play in the stadium. If I was Temple, the one thing I would worry with Temple is if their game plan is maybe like to mirror like Army did, not necessarily like the run game stuff, but like just sit on the ball. So it is going to be detrimental for OU's defense to put the pressure on early and make sure that they definitely like don't just lull about essentially for it and make it closer than it really should be. Put the game away by halftime if they can. I don't see why they shouldn't be able to do that. But that is my take on it. I just don't see the more I keep going like over like what will be like at a disadvantage, what would Temple threaten. I mean, I guess you could say their quarterback has experience and that he's been really, really good, but I also don't think he's played anybody worth mentioning at this point. It's easy like putting it like yourself against a team where they're basically the JV squad versus an actual team. I mean, it's like honestly, I think they put up more of a fight than Oklahoma State would this year. If that's
Yeah.
if that means worth if that's worth anything or any type of like filling at this point, but it is what it is. Again, I just don't think that Temple is just going to be anything threatening at this far. Um, I think OU covers the spread easily. I think this could be like a 40-50 point game. And I think people enjoy the area. They'll give Temple like some mercy points. They may give them like 14 since we've only almost given up 14 this season so far for it, just to keep that defensive stat really high. Um, but I just don't see what they could do consistently that would be a threat to OU or that would confuse anything. If you've taken care of business against Michigan, you're going to take care of business against Temple.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say from over the and I will say like over the weekend, too, like after kind of looking through on everything, OU was pretty much the biggest winner out of everybody, throughout that entire weekend. And I'm just going to be honest with you, because they actually had the most spots going up on the rankings in the AP poll out of everybody with like a basically like a 5 point difference, if anything, in the rankings, going from like 18 to 13. That was probably like the most out of anybody so far this season.
Yep, yep. I mean, again, Temple may have a positive attitude, like who they get to go face, who they get to face on like a home turf at this point. But again, what can Temple actually do at this point, even with the transfers from Montana State? That I just don't see what Temple can do unless they do some trick plays. And even then, how long can that last before the dam breaks and OU just like runs them over at this point? I'll be curious
Yeah,
to see if Michael Hawkins gets any plays and stuff. I know they want to save him for like if they really, really need him, but I wonder if he's gonna get some plays or get anything at this point for it.
I would
But
probably
it
say
is,
when if they were up by like 42 or 49-7 or something like that, that's probably when they'll go in. But like I just, that's probably going to be my best bet, honestly.
yep, yep. I do you think OU will cover the spread?
I believe they will, honestly. I mean, because like, look, the defense is gonna get, be able to cover it just fine. It's just like, can the offense be able to score enough points? That's gonna be the biggest question. And
I think
also, the other thing I would also like to see too, and I'm being very nitpicky here, you know, I would like to see Mateer kind of doing a little better job on some of his throws. I mean, he's made some good passes, but I want to be able to have his reads to be a little better, because there was a couple times to where he was able to force the ball at Michigan, and luckily he didn't get picked off like 3 or 4 times during that game.
yeah. And when you mention it as well for it, something that came to my mind as well that they can use kind of as a course correction is also focusing on the third quarter and overcoming the third quarter slump. It does seem like at times that OU from the past two games has kind of like went into a lull in the third quarter, but that's kind of been a trend for Brent Venables like teams. I'm hoping they can break that trend against Temple at this point. Um, but yeah, I mean, you take a look at all of Temple's stats and everything like that. The problem is the teams that they have faced are so bad. The only thing that really kind of have stood out to me was it was against UMass, and I think it was against Howard. And I'm checking it right now as we're speaking, but I want to say penalties were a problem with them, even against those like terrible teams. Yeah, they are a very heavily penalized team. Against UMass, they had 5 for 57, and for against Howard, they had 6 for 70. So they're not a very full disciplined team either, and that could come into favor against OU, the like end drives and everything for them as well. Um, the rest of it, we just don't know
Yeah,
enough about them, like what they do against actual teams with a pulse for it, because like their passing stats is deceptive, is deceiving. Their running is deceiving. Like when you're facing some of the worst offenses and defenses, or lower like varsity teams, like yeah, yeah. I would. What would be the
yeah.
final score for this game?
Um, I would probably say anywhere from like about maybe saying like 52 to 14, somewhere around in there, 52 to 14.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm good. Would probably have that at 49-14. I don't think they
Okay.
break 50, but I think they get very close to it. I just don't see they see the value of breaking 50, because the entire point is to make sure the guys are healed up before going into the SEC meat grinder.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is like I think, they'll finally get some turnovers, and we're gonna get some more short fields than we've had in quite a while. That's kind of where
Yeah.
I'm going with it now, that because I know we can do the long fields, but I would love to see how we can do from basically transition offense, when our defense makes turnovers. That's the biggest thing I want to be able to see.
Is there anything else, like any schemes or anything you want to see OU try to experiment a little bit, or like to um, sharpen against Temple, or would you rather have saved some of that against like Auburn and just like surprise them?
I would probably maybe withhold that. I would probably use this week, maybe mostly focusing on and look, I know I'm kind of going old school dirt grind here, but like I want to be able to kind of focus on technique, positioning, and stuff like that. So that way, we can be able to save that, further down the road.
Yeah,
It's like as long as we can stick to fundamentals, on a day in day out basis, that's
yeah.
I think going to be more important than basically trying to show your hand too early.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, again, this is OU's first game on the road. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff Central Time for us for it. I think they'll be up
Ah.
for it. And it's a nice little like break from Michigan into Auburn back at home here in the next couple weeks. So, yeah, there's again, as I'm thinking of it, I think we thoroughly have discussed Temple. It's very much focus on the areas of deficiency, take control of the game early, um, and just don't use this kind of as a like hangover game from Michigan at this point. Again, the mountain, we just started to climb the mountain for it. We're only just a quarter way through the season for it. The real challenges are still ahead. Michigan's just a nice little like cherry at the moment at this point.
Yeah, it's just pretty much a little pit stop and everything else though too before we start moving on. Although I will say, kind of, and I'm kind of looking through some of the schedule and everything. Uh, some interesting games and everything. Of course, Texas A&M is actually traveling up to Notre Dame this weekend.
Yeah.
Which that's going to be, I think, pretty interesting game. 6:30. Um, Miami and South Florida. That one I think is going to basically be, you know, a lot of people are going to be turning into that. Of course, people not realizing that you can actually watch college football on the CW finally, which is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wait, we can get a free game to watch on TV, not have to go somewhere.
Yeah, but just because they can doesn't mean are they going to.
Yeah. So
That's a
I
big
think
one.
that, yeah, and I was just kind of laughing about that too because it was like it was like before that you would think it would be like either on ABC or ESPN or something like that, or anything. Or I would just say back into what was that one channel that it was on? It was like Jefferson something or anything.
Yeah, just
Can't
those
remember. It
random
was
type
like
of
usually
channels.
something you could see where they had some of the SEC.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those random type of channels and everything. That's what it feels like at this point, if anything, with it being on the CW.
I
So
think
if you guys
I
know
think
what
the
I'm
US
talking about, that's basically what it feels like.
Yeah, and I feel like the USF game is just interesting in general just because if they beat Miami, that shows they're probably a legitimate playoff team and they're going to make it to the playoff. If not, who knows? For it, was it just luck that they beat Florida and Boise State? It might be, but it is a game to kind of circle at this point of some like a playoff team potentially already decided this early on, barring that UCF does not like throw up on themselves.
Yeah,
Obviously, the other interesting game besides Texas A&M and Notre Dame is Georgia Tennessee.
yeah, and College Game Day is going to be there. Of course, if anybody from Tennessee somehow decides to kick a field goal, we've already got two in a row to where basically the home team that has kicked it and everything has already won games. So
Yeah.
if this is some sort of omen, to where if Tennessee makes it, I feel like you're going to have a good chance of winning this game if you're Tennessee.
Oh yeah. I still lean Georgia. Tennessee's got to give me some reasons. I do know that they probably won the trade against with Nico and
Against,
UCLA.
y-
Um,
yeah, yeah, I will say, and I will say, like if anything, like Josh Heupel, if anything, kind of pulled out the basically a page from the Bob Stoops page of anything, saying that no player is even bigger than the program with that sort of issue when Nico decided to leave. And honestly, the way that they've kind of kept going and everything without Nico, I think kind of shows a testament to that, if anything. So I kind of see Tennessee. I can see this as kind of being an actual dogfight to where it can come down to the last possession between these two.
Exactly. Um, I think uh the SEC also like released their like first injury reports and stuff. Like you take a look at it, like what happened to like Arkansas's like wide receiver room. There's 4 or 6 guys out for Florida. For Arkansas, they have like so many guys. Tennessee has 3 guys out with 4 of them questionable. Same with Georgia. Like that's going to start coming into play a little bit too. And like we're not required to report just yet, but that's coming here very, very soon.
Yeah, that's going to come next week. That's going to be interesting. Now, I'm kind of looking at with like Georgia and Tennessee. Um, Tennessee's going to be without mostly a lot of their injuries right now have been on their defensive side of the ball, if
Correct.
anything, and that's going to be something to keep an eye on. If the secondary is going to be going out and everything. Uh, Florida is just banged up right now on the
Yeah.
offensive side of the ball. I mean, they've lost Webb, uh, Wilson. They've also have lost Isaacs as well as one of their old linemen. It's like if injuries are not played a part, that's going to be something to keep an eye on. But as far as like with the everything else going on, there was a couple of other games that really kind of got got me very intrigued as well, though too. Like the LSU Florida game, and LSU is going to be at home. Especially with Florida, just have a hard time seeing Florida trying to go into Death Valley and basically try to win this game. I have
Yeah.
LSU going to be basically winning by at least maybe 2, 3 touchdowns at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there any speaking of that, it came over social media a couple days ago. It's not for this week, but are you going to stay up for the Michigan State USC game when it kicks off at 11 p.m. Eastern time in late October for the Sickos Challenge?
Oh man, I'm gonna say no. I am not gonna stay up and watch that game. Honestly, this is what you get when you're trying to have a team in the middle of the country and everything traveling over to the West Coast. We're basically going on sort of weird NFL slash Pac-12 challenges at night. If
Yeah.
anything at this point. Um, because it's like I need my beauty sleep. I'm not gonna watch two middle of the road teams, trying to duke it out when we got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I was trying to see too. I know circling back around to the Michigan game for a sec. I also know like OU did get a lot of love from like national beat writers and stuff for Mateer especially. And I know the Heisman talk, we talked about that in other live streams, but he was SEC Offensive Player of the Week. I think he was the Walter Camp as well. For it. So OU's gotten a little bit of love from
Well,
that from
eh,
that Michigan
eh,
game, and even more so. Did you see that OU in the ratings also got nearly 10 million viewers for the OU Michigan game, which is great because when you think about anything over 8 and there being about 66 million traditional cable television sets in the United States, that's about 1 in 10 people were watching the game at that point. So
yeah.
that's really good. When you look at like previous games, a good one, I think it was the most highest rated game in a week 2 since 2006. Do you know what game that was back in 2006?
Um, I want to I'm gonna just take a random guess here. I somehow think it was Texas at Ohio State.
Yes, you were correct. It was a number 1 versus number 2 matchup following Texas's national championship year, and it only got like if OU was like 9.8, they were 9.9 essentially. They were only a little bit more. So it's also like crazy of how much more the like setups and how much more the like eyeballs and everything have changed as well for like viewing games, because that also doesn't take into account like streaming and all that. But that's still big, especially when you look at like the height of it. They almost hit like 11 million for it at
Yeah,
the height of the game. So I mean, that's a good showing for a non-Ohio State. I can't think of a game that high. Like it beat out OU Texas 2023 as well. I can't think of a game though that high. That's not something that's like the game of the century where that's all there was that was on, or a postseason type of thing. That's still good for OU at that point. I think that's
yeah.
like very, very like impressive that they were able to pull in those numbers and were able to like display that. I wasn't even expecting 9 million. I was expecting like 6 or 7, but I think maybe the Michigan people like tuned in and everything as well for that.
Yeah, and I will say it was like I think if anything too, this is actually like how Sean even put this out there too. By the way, welcome in, Sean.
Yo,
Um, it's like this is gonna kind of be also kind of good for recruiting, and people will say, okay, it's like we are actually playing real good football, and people are really what gonna be digging into playing with this sort of team if you're gonna beat a national team like Michigan. Now, I mean, even though they're a little down, it'll still basically give you, that little bit of extra boost, especially wanting to play for OU.
Exactly. And it's also too that it's finally showing like how Texas was nationally embarrassed with Arch Manning on national TV sets. OU got a very, very like awesome promotion on primetime sets for it nationally, and finally showing that maybe OU's finally got over like some of the stuff that's been holding us back the past couple years, and put on like we all said, like agreed that OU's just had a good showing for it, which is good. It's good for Brent Venables. It's good for the program. Maybe good for convincing like the anybody on the fence or anything for that. Sean, how have you been, buddy? Thanks for hopping in for a couple minutes.
I just walked in the door, so I figured I would pop in while I had the moment. So
Sure. How's everything been? Have you moved on from the Michigan game yet from it, and focused on the world beaters known as the Temple Owls?
for the most part, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, I don't know what else. I don't know what you all talked about the last 30 minutes, but it's just. I mean, I think it's time to move on from Michigan. But the only thing I can think of is like I think people are trying to figure out how good Michigan is or how good Oklahoma is, and it's just one of those things where it's like, um,
It's too early in the season.
well, both things can be true. That Oklahoma's a lot better than last year, and Michigan is like going to be above average. That
Correct.
can be true. They don't have any wide receivers. Period. Like there were multiple plays from last Saturday night where you go, man, if they had some receivers, they probably could have like done something on offense, but they don't. So that's not Oklahoma's fault. They
Correct.
played and they had a game plan to like, we're not afraid of you passing the ball on us. We're just gonna like destroy you with our front seven, and they did.
Sure.
So,
and no, Gavin and I did not mention that. Like that's a good point to mention. It's like that seems to be a general consensus of we won't know that till much later in the season, and how good Michigan puts up a show against.
Well, again, if I'm retreading, forgive me, but Oklahoma is like dealing with Oklahoma and John Mateer specifically are having their 15 minutes of fame, and John Mateer is the Heisman favorite, which is like that was very predictable based on his performance on Saturday. He is the current front runner to be my September Heisman winner, which is not necessarily a good thing if you really care about winning the Heisman. But unlike Jalen Hurts from 2019, like John Mateer has multiple big games to showcase on the big stage. So Jalen Hurts had like 2, and they were in the first half of the season. So, I just think if you're Oklahoma going into this week, and we're not going to get any injury updates on people, so I'm not saying Fasusi's jacked up, but if we're like, hey Mike, if you want to rest your ankle, Logan Howland played well at the end of the game. We'll let him start, or we'll let someone else start, and we'll go from there. I would like for Fasusi to play if he's good, if he's still, because I want to have some continuity on that line. But
yeah,
we'll see what Gentry is looking like. but I'm not concerned about Temple, despite the bulletin board material the reporters gave on Tuesday. That was hilarious, and
I laughed. Was that Parker Thune? I think it was, but
yes.
I wasn't sure. I'm like, it sounded like him, but I wasn't sure.
Of course, it was Parker Thune.
And we mentioned it earlier. It was just like they were like, Temple's offended. I'm like, guys, why are you offended? It's true. Like, I don't care. There is so much a mismatch. Y'all know
the players aren't. The one thing I take solace in this, like, I'm not worried about quote unquote trash talk from local beat guys. OU players are saying the right things. Brent Venables said all the right things on the teleconference today. Someone tried to ask him about Auburn. He's like, bro, we play Temple this week. I ain't talking about Auburn. So OU media is very hyper focused on that Auburn game right now.
Yeah.
Because no one gives a shit about the Temple game. And frankly, they shouldn't, but I care if the coaching staff and the players do. That's what I care about. So
yeah,
I think if you're Oklahoma, the ultimate goal of this week is very simple. Duh. But I mean, more specifically,
walk out healthy.
Will you let me fucking finish? Quit trying to guess what I'm saying,
Josh.
Will you let me quit trying to sound smart and guess what I'm saying? No. The goal for this week is to be invisible. The goal of this week is to walk in. You're a noon kick on ESPN2. Do your thing. Get out.
Yeah.
Cover if you go and win that game 42-3, awesome. Get on the plane to go home. Get yourself a cheesesteak on the way out, and then get ready for Auburn next week. That is the goal. That is your ultimate goal right now. So, and that's what Oklahoma should do. Look, when it comes to Temple, they are not the worst team in college football like they were last year. That's Kent State this year. So now for Temple, they've gone from the 120s to maybe the 90s or 80s. For them, that's a monumental leap. For Oklahoma, it's not going to mean that much because Oklahoma took a giant leap on offense themselves. What you want to see, can they establish a run? That's not John Mateer. I would like John Mateer not to have to. Now, if John Mateer has 5 to 7 carries where he does some amazing things and has a highlight, has a SportsCenter top 10, if like Deion Burks has a one-handed catch that makes SportsCenter top 10, fine. I'm not going to hope or pray they do that. I want to look at the box score. Just the spread keeps on dipping for them, which I find funny, which normally is bad news for a team. Oh, somebody knows something, but it's Temple. I'm not.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier where it was like, it's not OU. It's more of, do they have faith that Temple can score just enough to cover the spread? I don't think so.
With this OU team, they could be up 38-10 late, and there's the backups are in there, and Mike Hawkins fumbles, and there's a scoop and score, and they cover.
Yeah.
And you're on bad beats with Scott Van Pelt. So the goal is to be invisible this week.
Yeah.
And this is me as a YouTuber saying, I need all the clicks I can get to make money. I want this to be a low level view count week for me when it comes to Oklahoma succeeding long term. Just you skip, you don't even talk about them. Up 52-3, they won. All right, moving on to Oregon. Let's see what they did. Moving on to LSU. Let's see what they did. That's all it needs to be. The rest, there's other interesting games this week, which some of them I'm not going to watch because I don't care about A&M or Notre Dame. It has no effect on me or my schedule or how things are going to go this year. Florida Miami is no longer as interesting as it could have been because of South Florida. So it's yeah.
Would you say, just very briefly on the OU game, that it would be good for OU for a focus while you say stay quiet, be invisible, use it as an opportunity to focus on the run game and maybe try to get some turnovers, try to build up that confidence?
I'm not worried about them.
That would be kind of the only thing that we could even reach for.
I'm not worried about them. Honestly, I'm not worried about them force. How about not commit any yourself? That'd be the one thing I'm more concerned about.
That's fair.
We've gone back-to-back weeks. We're -2 back-to-back weeks. I don't care if you force a turnover. I really don't. Just don't cause turnovers yourself. I think, guys, turnovers are going to come with this team, and when they do, they're probably it's going to be an avalanche. at some point. It's like, I'm not worried about this team eventually forcing turnovers because they've had plenty of close calls and opportunities. They're going to come, but just don't turn the ball, be loosey-goosey with the ball yourself, and you'll be fine. So if I'm sure PJ or R. Mason is going to get a clear hit at the quarterback at some point, and they're going to fumble, and there'll be a scoop, and it'll put the team in prime position for an easy score.
Yeah,
that's what I care about. So just if they can get the running game going a little bit, this is a team that if you want to try to get your O-line to feel comfortable with run blocking and run fits and whatnot, this is it. So because after that you only have one more game where you can really tinker and toy around, and that's like a week after the Auburn game. That's it. There are no more gimmies on this schedule. So
and how much are you going to get from the results of the Kent State bring your kid to the game at that point? Like, you're not going to really get.
You can
too much
still
from
get
Kent
good reps if you can just you can still get confidence.
Yeah.
If you can do that. So, I think it would help. Hang on 1 second. I got it.
Sure.
It would behoove them if they could listen. If I don't care who it is, if it's Jaden Ott or if it's Blaylock or whomever, just have a decent day running the ball. If people say it's against Temple, well, they couldn't do it against Illinois State, so they're going somewhere in the right direction. So I'll take it. Because I think Auburn's going to give you similar. I think they have similar talent when it comes to their D line. Their defense is very sus overall. I'm not impressed with Auburn's defense. I know Baylor was week 1, but bro, if Baylor can do stuff to you, what do you think John Mateer is going to do to you?
Exactly.
In a couple of weeks. So, but that's Auburn. That's a few weeks. That's a couple of weeks from now. So, it's just, I think the thing for Oklahoma more than anything is it's handling success. It's the big thing, coming home. I remember coming home or come back to the hotel room after beating Texas 2 years ago. It was we were on cloud 9. It's shit. We could win the Heisman. We could get the playoff. It's everything's on the table. And then the very next week, I think they had a bye week, if I recall correctly. They had a bye week, and then they came home to play UCF, and they fucked around and almost found out.
Yeah, I was there, and
it was what the fuck was going on? And then you saw kind of the rest of the season kind of went how it went, and you have a minor injury to Stutzman, and you change 1 or 2 plays, your season's a lot different.
Yeah,
but you can't change 1 or 2 plays. You lost a game to Kansas, and you lost to Oklahoma State on the road. You just flip one of those games, you're in the Big 12 championship, and you're on your way to potentially the college football playoff. So,
and the narrative changes.
It changes and you don't have to worry about a bowl game against Arizona that no one should care about,
right?
And you know what I love about this past week? Anyone bringing up a bowl game against Navy? That's what I thought. So Oklahoma is in the a lot of people are, like I said, they got the 15 minutes. People are talking up Oklahoma. There's a handful of people who think Oklahoma's a fraud, and I actually like that there's people out there that think that, because this team has a lot they can improve on. I sit here and think we haven't even played Giovanni Gibson yet. And if Giovanni Gibson is looking like a dude who's now, I don't expect him to play this week either, because why would you bother?
Yeah.
But if you unleash Giovanni Gibson in 2 weeks at home, and number 11's out there. We have a number 11 on defense who can make plays, and we have a number 11, a number 11 here who can make plays. That would be kind of awesome. It's just Oklahoma has a chance to get better. There are pieces on this. There are members of this roster who, if they get on the field and add to what we've already seen, that's the excitement for me. It's we're not done yet. There are other players Ryan Foje, I don't think is there yet, but knock on wood, if Fabechi gets dinged up, Foje in late October could be a valuable piece to this team if they absolutely, because they're playing Foje regardless. Because they put him out there on that I formation thing, which I need to see more of that. That I formation was sexual. I loved it. I missed it. I missed it so much.
and us succeeding at it. I think that's the part too. Of
they
like,
did it one time, but you know what? We had an I formation, and I'm part. I'm like, it's like I know Kevin Wilson's on the sideline, motherfuckers. I see you, bitch.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah.
I see you in the I formation. I see you. I see your play run through a motherfucker's face. Play. I see that shit. I love it.
One thing, Sean, while I'm thinking of it as well, because you listen to Michigan sports radio, what have they been saying this past week? Because I've seen some
Not
of the YouTube
much.
here. They seem like they're shell shocked. Like
No,
some of them are like,
okay, no.
They expected maybe that, but not the.
Here's what I heard yesterday. Because I don't listen to the Michigan bought and paid for media. I listen to the real sports talk radio. I listen to Mike Valeni
out of Detroit, right?
Yeah, Mike Valeni is like the best, not just Detroit. He's like one of the best sports talk radio guys in the country. Valeni and Rico specifically. Now, full disclosure, they're Michigan State people, but like they call it like I see it. They called out all the BS about Bryce Underwood being this amazing freshman, and they called they were. To be fair, Mike Valeni was making fun of that shit the week before. He was doing the whole Chuck Norris thing, but Bryce Underwood instead. Bryce Underwood doesn't do push-ups; he pushes the earth down. Shit like that. He was making those jokes all week, mocking it because he knew what was up. Mike Valeni was not impressed with Oklahoma. He thought they should have won by more, and so.
But he's not wrong. I think
he's not. No, he's not that right. He thinks what he thinks of Oklahoma. That's fine.
I mean, we could have won that game 38-13 if
that's why I'm high on this team, because you fucked around a little bit and you still won by 2 scores.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you could say Michigan's not as good. Now again, Michigan has no wide receivers. That was addressed too. You could talk about Klein being out at tight end, but that makes a difference a little bit, maybe here and there. But it's just like. This whole that Bryce Underwood's going to be this great player is still like, I'm still a wait and see what happens. Like everyone's wish casting for Bryce Underwood to be great. Maybe he will be. I don't know. But people are saying he looked good and great. It's like, he went 9 for 24, guys. Like, I don't know what else you're like. You can say it was a conservative game plan and they didn't let him run. They didn't do this, but I fail to see the examples you give me that are like saying he's going to be great just because. Maybe he will be. Like, he's a number 1 player. He got a micro burst of arch hype for like a week.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks, he got a micro burst of that, and then it came crashing down. So we'll see, but they don't have anybody explosive. Like they're running. Justice Hayes is it. He's the guy. He's the one guy they got who you could get the ball to, and something dangerous can happen. So, I don't expect Michigan to be a playoff team. I'm going to quasi root for them, I guess, just in case. We're in a tight race with anyone else in the SEC
for our strength of schedule,
for the strength of schedule.
I would like for them to win 8 games. Like if they could go to Nebraska and find a way to win, great. But they got a lot of guys dinged up in that game. They had a starting offensive lineman get hurt. Their star linebacker got a little dinged up. When he made that big play to stop Blaylock, he was a little, I don't know what his status is, but I'm not really following it because I don't really need to. So, but I'm not worried about Michigan being a good win for Oklahoma like we're in the Big 12. If they're a good win, great. If Oklahoma does some things they're supposed to do, they're going to have the wins they need to get where they want to go. As long as the ultimate goal is still there too, which the ultimate goal is to win it all, right? But to make the playoff for this team, to make the 12-team playoff, it would be a huge step in the right direction, and I think they can do that as long as they incrementally get better. I don't expect every single problem OU has right now to be fixed at Temple. I expect them to take steps forward. I expect little moments here and there. I agree. I would like to see Jaden Ott or Blaylock have a 30-yard run. You know what I mean? I would like
have nice.
I would like to see that. I would like to see the defense not bust on any plays. I would like to see, I want a boring football. You and I are going to watch the game on Saturday, right? We're still planning for that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you and I to be talking about the next season of X-Men 97 or something bullshit in the second half. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's the goal. We should say, oh, Mike Hawkins is in. This is his first game, so he won't burn his red shirt yet. He's got 1 game. He's got 3 more left. We're going to look at other games that are going on at noon. That should be the goal for this team this week, to make it the most boring football game on the planet that's not Kent State. So
Correct.
if we're in the fourth quarter going, well, as long as they get a first down, they'll take care of business. It's like, okay. Like,
well, if they're struggling against Temple, we have problems.
Yeah, there'll be some obvious problems, but at the end of the day, I don't think that's going to happen. I still think like they'll cover the spread. I don't expect. Listen, I just need to have Mike Hawkins playing quarterback in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
that's what I need.
Yeah.
Now, if Brent takes after Bob and like we're up 40 points and like John's still quarterbacking in the fourth quarter, because that's like a Bob Stoops thing that always seemed to happen. Why is the starter still in, Bob? And then finally the backups got in late in the fourth. That was a Bob Stoops, like he would not put him back up. So there was like 5 minutes left. That's what Bob
and that
did.
drove everybody nuts because they wouldn't have enough.
It drove me nuts.
I mean, it drove everybody nuts. I mean,
Yeah.
you're up by 40-some points, and it's like you still want to keep your starter out there.
Sam Bradford's still in the game, or Jason White's still in the game. I was like, Bob, what are you doing?
Paul Thompson's still in the game, if you want to go in there.
Our offensive line sucked in 06, so I don't blame them for keeping Paul Thompson in the game. So
yeah. I mean, you pretty much covered.
We did not have the quarterback depth in 2006, so Paul Thompson was going to stay in the game. Sam Bradford was a true freshman and not ready for prime time. So
I mean, hey, Paul Thompson did great in 06, despite not being, I mean, he was a quarterback for a bit and then go wide receiver and then back to quarterback. I mean,
I'm not mad at Paul Thompson for anything, but just we did
Paul was fine.
We did not have any quarterback depth in 06, period.
Yeah,
Paul Thompson needed to stay healthy. But for the most part, just I look at this week and just be boring. I need make Oklahoma football boring again this week, and
okay,
run if we can run the football and just like. I want people to say John Mateer gets a couple of fun plays, and then like I would like to be up 35-0 at halftime if possible. That would be great.
Yeah.
Now the spread's
I think that's possible.
Spread's 23.5. I think
no, it's gone down now.
No, it's 21.5.
Oh, now it's 21.5. Of course, you go out for dinner with friends for 2 hours, and the spread goes down.
No. It's been that way since this morning.
Yeah.
Will you let me have my joke? I'm kidding, of course. Like I know ESPN still has it at 23. It all like MGM has it at 20. Okay. Some places have it at 20.5 when I was listening driving back. But
20.5, my God.
20.5? What?
Yeah, people are doing. I know why people are doing this. They're trying because they see Oklahoma not scoring a lot of points early, and they think like they think the offense isn't there yet. They said they can't run the ball yet. Unless it's John Mateer. I know this is what they're doing.
I mean, that seems like easy Vegas money to like get from people.
Oh, that's easy money.
I mean, OU has covered both games. Last I checked, am I wrong? Or did they covered Illinois State? Did they? Or did they?
Yeah, they did.
Okay,
yeah, they did.
If they did. Okay, so like someone would say this is a foul. They're not covering, so they are terrible. It's like I hate Vegas people sometimes like, that are obsessed with that shit. But yeah,
I think like I want to say. I saw how much they were supposed to win by. No, actually, OU did not cover against Illinois State.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It didn't because like,
I thought they did.
No,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure because I'm like if they did, great, but I didn't think they did. So that's why you have money coming in on Temple like this. No one thinks that Temple's going to win, but they think, well, it's like, hey, if it's 38-10 and then they get a late score and it's like, under 20, it's like, hey, or if it's at 21 or whatever it comes in at, whatever. But they need to. I think it's a sign of maturity for this team if they can step on their throat early. Because what I like about this team that I've seen, all of the upperclassmen, the guys you want to be leaders are leaders.
Yeah.
John Mateer is a leader as the quarterback as he should. You have Mason Thomas, you have Cub McKenzie, you have like R. Cyrus Jennings, you have all these upperclassmen guys, Peyton Bowen, Samuel Masigo, all these guys who have been in the program for a while, and they're taking charge, and they're the ones who are playing the best football. And there's a handful of, and Fasusi, there's a couple young freshmen obviously who are doing great, like Fasusi and whatnot, but it's like this is an this is a heavy upper class led team, and to me, like I know there's the whole people have picked OU to go 8-4. It's like it just feels like the thing I've always felt is like, man, with all this experience and potential leadership we have on this team on one side of the football, it would be a shame to waste it another year. We have it just feels like a year they have got to take advantage of it. They have got, if you want to keep all of this good mojo going, you got to win double-digit games if you can. It's still a huge task, but it's like, to me, if we're going to talk about Auburn, it's kind of like how Auburn in the early 80s had this ridiculous schedule, if you go back and look.
Yeah.
And they won a bunch of, they lost a few close games, but Auburn was a really good team. They just had a bitch of a schedule, and I think they claim it as one of their fake national championships they did recently. But it's a team that people are proud of, and it's I think it just feels like they played Texas, and they had a tough SEC schedule. I think they had another tough non-conference game too, but it's that's what it feels like for Oklahoma. And people are asking, well, do expectations change for OU now? Because people are putting OU in SEC title conversation now, or all this other stuff. It's like, I ain't there yet, because you can say that they're in these conversations and they have the potential, the players, the talent to do it, but they still got to navigate it. And and I still stand by what I said. Like, if they go 9-3, they better be in the playoff, because all I hear is how tough their schedule is. You keep telling, then they keep reiterating that every week.
Yeah.
So, look at how many all the teams in the SEC are ranked on their schedule. Okay, then if we go 9-3, we better be in the fucking playoff. You keep telling me how tough the schedule is. We're not having garbage performances against South Florida, because Florida was our blood brother in tough schedules, and they're losing to South Florida. That's what you have to. That's what you have to avoid this week.
And they got banged up too. Like, they have a lot of guys out.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you were hoping that Texas would lose to them, I mean, they still might, because who knows what Texas will do. Both teams are kind of floundering at the moment. But if you're their bitch, they have a trifecta of, oh my god, right now with Miami, LSU, and Texas.
Like, well, and I mean, it's just like what SEC shorts did. Like, Florida's about ready to go into like witness protection, like, and just see everybody next year. Like,
well, yeah, because Billy Napier's done.
Oh, you think he's done this year? Like, is it?
Dude,
I'm not gonna say done, but is he like? Did this one finally?
Bro, you can't lose to South Florida and expect to beat.
No, you can't. I mean, you can't. Honestly,
he would have to run the goddamn table on his.
And that's not happening.
No, he would have to make the playoff and make a little bit of a run. He would have to. He would have to make the playoff and make a run.
Yeah, but who do you go get now? Are they still trying to get like John Gruden?
Lane Kiffin on line 2.
Are you serious? Like, I figure Alabama would be going for Lane Kiffin at the moment.
Oh, Alabama's like going to get on the phone to Nick Saban every time he's on game day, beg him to come back.
Since 911 doesn't work anymore for them.
Well, if an Alabama fan can make one of those 30-yard field goals with like Pat McAfee, and instead of a $200,000 prize, Nick Saban comes back to coach Bama, to make that interesting. All right, little Timmy, if you make this kick, Coach Saban gonna come back and save our program. You can do it. Oh, little Timmy was wide left, about 5.
And they would line up for that
with a chance to kick a football 30 yards. You could.
If they do it, it's for every game. Like, it's for this game. If you make it, we'll let Nick Saban coach. If not,
Tim, if you just make this field goal, Coach Saban come back and coach for at least another 20 years into his 90s. It's like
until he's 90.
See, you get that reference. You get that reference.
I did get that 90.
You
know what I'm most disappointed about with Bama's like fall at the moment? That Phyllis is not around.
Oh, because she's dead. Yeah.
That would have been some great. Yeah, she did. She did, unfortunately, but she would have been.
She's dead, and her Auburn counterpart is like dead too, like Tammy. Oh yeah, she died like in a car wreck or something. That's tragic. But
yeah,
but it's like Phyllis like was a smoker, I take it.
Oh yeah, she absolutely. I mean, absolutely. You could tell. Like she probably was calling him Fine Bomb.
I feel so weird having like sad conversations about Fine Bomb callers. It's like
Phyllis was a mainstay. That's why.
I guess it's like I don't want to be a total dick, but it's like I don't care. You were a Fine Bomb caller.
Sure.
It's like I would rather be remembered as a loving mother, sister, daughter, that type of shit. You were a Fine Bomb caller. It's like if anyone goes to my funeral and says what a great YouTuber I was, I'm gonna rise from the grave and choke them out. Because I'm gonna say I'm not good.
I'm gonna have that at your funeral. I'll be like, he was my favorite D-rated YouTuber ever.
No, I'm a C-level celebrity. So
hey, you got recognized at OU Texas. So
yeah, I did like about 15 times, which weirded me out. And I was like, oh, so I might break 20,000 before the season's over.
Hey, that's impressive though.
Yeah,
that really is.
I mean, it's okay.
Don't sell yourself short. Like that is impressive for like
I'm too tall.
OU-centric and everything.
I'm too tall to do that. Well, because if I was an Ohio State guy or something, I'd have way more. Because just the size of the fan base. It's just the way it is.
Correct.
If I was Ohio State or Michigan, I would be, I would have way more just by the numbers. More people would hate me too. But it is what it is. At least I'm not a pirate getting cease and desist letters for fraud. Anyway,
yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, you guys want access to all 22 footage? $20 a month. Anyway, so
I know who you're talking about. I'll ask you after.
Yeah.
You
just
you
$20
brought
a month, guys. All access to footage I don't own. So
jeez. What
anything else you want to cover?
Only briefly, you were talking about the games from this week. Gavin and I were briefly going into that. Like, really, the biggest game is Georgia, Tennessee, and even then, it's like I think Georgia definitely has a leg up on Tennessee because Tennessee seems to have the more significant injuries. But
Georgia better watch out because. Listen, last week was like a rainy, lightning day in the Southeast, and a lot of games and I'm not gonna hold it against Georgia for just mailing it in against Austin P and not giving a fuck because when Austin P was at the goal line at the 1, it was 4th and goal and they were going for it. I saw Georgia just stuff them like they were bored. It was like, all right, we're not going to let you cross the goal line. You're here, but you're not getting in. It's like the meme of like the white guy with the shades with like letting people in the door or not.
Yeah,
they were like, no, you're not getting through. So it's like, okay, they're clearly just bored in the lightning delay, and they were just like, can we please just like get out of here? We don't want to play this game. It's another sign we should never play these games ever again. The sooner we get to that, the better. Like the worst game on your schedule should be like Wake Forest or something, or whatever, or Northwestern. But Georgia is just like, I haven't watched a lot of Georgia. I haven't watched Tennessee much. So that's the mid-afternoon game, if I recall.
Yeah, that's a 2:30 kick.
So I'll watch a little bit of it.
I
gotta leave, and I got somewhere to go on Saturday night, but. I'll watch a little bit of it and keep an eye on it as I'm driving, but I don't know. Like Tennessee is kind of like one of those teams in the SEC that like keep an eye on them. Let's see what they can do. Just kind of like with if they win this game, Heupel will get all the love and. Everyone's already declaring them the winners of the quote unquote first QB trade, which is not true. I've corrected people. The first QB trade happened a long time ago in like 2015, 2016 when we traded Trevor for Kyler Murray. That was the first QB trade, and I have proof of this. I have informed Andy Staples of this, so. I have a video evidence of me informing Andy Staples that was the first QB trade. But if Tennessee beats Georgia, UAB on the road at Mississippi State gets interesting because Mississippi State beat a team that was noteworthy. at least in the preseason polls. Bye week, Arkansas, at Alabama. Like, Tennessee's beaten Bama twice, but they haven't beaten them at Tuscaloosa yet in a while. That's the one thing they need to do. Man, that'll be a game. At Kentucky, they should win that one. They host us on the 1st of November. Guys, like, I feel weird saying Vandy is a tougher game than Florida, but it might be.
Well,
if Tennessee,
I don't think
Georgia,
you're wrong.
If Tennessee
I don't think you're wrong.
If Tennessee beats Georgia, it's time to start having SEC championship talk.
Yeah,
if they win this game, because Mississippi State, I would pick them. I'd pick them over Arkansas right now. I'd pick them over Bama.
Yeah.
OU, that's going to be a game. As of right now, OU and Tennessee is going to be a fight. Like, they'll beat Kentucky, they'll beat New Mexico, Florida.
I mean, there's a lot of games that we thought too, though, Sean, that
Tennessee
could be tough.
Tennessee could easily mirror the record from last year and be a playoff team. Now.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Missouri's starting to look a little bit tougher on our schedule.
No, Missouri fans think they're people. We're gonna put a stop to that shit.
No,
we're gonna put a stop to that shit. I'm just gonna. So, it's early to crown people, and but there's a lot of ifs in what I just said. But it's just
sure.
The only thing you can look at right now is, can you look at teams who don't look like they have the glaring flaw?
Yeah.
Like, if you look at Oklahoma, the glaring flaw for Oklahoma is like running the football with running backs, like just traditional run plays. That's their glaring flaw right now until they fix it. I think they'll get better, though. That's the thing. I don't think that's an unfixable problem. If your secondary can't cover anybody, that's not a problem you can easily fix.
Yeah.
If you either got guys who can cover, like Cortland Guillory can cover people. You can either do it or you can't.
Yeah.
So, you guys, you either have a pass rush or you don't. Running, like, you could pass block. Running the football, it's about offensive linemen can get better. Teams can get better.
Yeah.
So, but if you can't cover a guy, when it comes to a one-on-one situation and you can't cover somebody, you may not be long for this world when it comes to playing big time college football. So,
sure.
But offensive linemen as a unit, I feel good about of OU's 5 guys they have right now. Assuming Fasusi plays on Saturday, we'll just have to wait and see like who goes out there. If Fasusi, if you want to rest his ankle for Auburn, I'm totally fine. Put Logan Hallen out there, and I
mean, that was my assumption going into the Temple game, was they'll let some guys start, but then it's mostly use it as a rest opportunity to get ready for the meat grinder of the SEC. That's how I saw it.
Because here's the thing for Oklahoma: you take care of business, you're ready for Auburn.
Yeah.
If you beat Auburn, just beat them. I don't care what the score could be. 3-2. Let's do a redo of Mississippi State Auburn from years ago. 3-2. I don't care. Just win that game. You basically have 2 weeks to get ready for Dallas. You have a bye week and you have a scrimmage against Kent State.
Yeah.
And you're going to be more healthy, more prepared. And
then Texas will be.
People are going to try to play the reverse psychology game. Well, they're picking Oklahoma. Is this the game where Arch breaks out? They're going to do that shit. The people who still try to make it you have an opportunity. If you can get to that point and you could be 6-0, then you can start to have the conversation. All right, can you win 3 games out of your last 6?
Yeah,
that's all you got to do, really. Now, I would prefer 4. I prefer 4, but again, still a tall order, because
I would say too, like, if the narrative doesn't even get to that Arch point, if they lose to Florida. If they lose to Florida, like,
well, as of right now, I would pick Texas to win that game.
I would too.
Texas has a lot of flaws. Like, listen,
but it's not Florida.
You can't lose to South Florida. You just can't.
You can't.
South Florida is listen, South Florida's a good football team in a lot of ways, but the only way Florida gets a get out of jail free card, in my personal opinion, is if South Florida just like finds a way and beats Miami. That's it.
So Gavin and I mentioned that, like, how good is this for? Is it just luck? If they beat Miami, you have a playoff team. They're running the table, and then Florida, exactly as you said, they get a free get out of jail at that point. If not, they have to beat Miami. There's no middle ground.
But the problem is your get out of jail free card. The bus drops you off in the bad part of town, and you still got to play LSU in Miami and Texas. So
that's a good reference.
And Georgia as well. You know, too, a little further down.
Well, that's that. I'm talking about just the 3 in a row they got to play. Like, I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's funny is that is a very, very awesome reference you said, because it is at LSU, it is at Miami, and then you get Texas. But you're right, it's like you got to walk back to your house before you get to Texas.
Yeah, you don't got to go home yet. Like, the bus drops you off in Skid Row somewhere, and you just like, where do I?
Am
go?
I in the right place?
Here's $20. Show up to your appointment for job placement.
I mean, I think Florida's about to get belt to ass, like, for the next year. I mean,
Billy Napier had all that goodwill that he just flushed down the toilet. Listen, it's one thing if he would have gotten whooped by Miami or LSU, right? If that happened, fans would get mad. But you can't lose to South Florida, bro. You can't. You just can't do it. There's no excuse for that. You're the Florida Gators, and the Sunbelt Billy nicknames are back, and rightfully so. And it's like
they were calling to fire him inside the stadium last week.
Oh yeah. I saw the video. It's like,
and well deserved.
If I was a Florida fan, I'd be starting those chants. I would have cue cards and everything. I would be leading that shit. Listen,
You'd be the shit stirrer.
I'm a staunch defender of Brent, but like, it'll get to even I have my breaking points.
Yeah,
it's like if Brent can't fail horribly this year, Brent can quote unquote fail, because asking him to go all the way is kind of insane with this schedule, but he can't like fall flat on his fucking face.
Right. And to his credit, as much as I've been like saying like I'm done with Brent, I did not get that vibe from the game last week. This one felt like
he's got a lot of goodwill and he can't fuck it up.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because we just got we got like a jacked up version of Hollywood Brown for 2027. And we're likely getting the quarterback for 2027 on Monday. And
you actually led into my next question, kind of like, I know we're on the tail end of the stream. I'm hearing a lot of the recruits really did enjoy that game, and now it seems like Brent may have actually flipped a few as a result.
Yeah, because that's what happens when you have a big game atmosphere and your team looks awesome.
And you win. I think winning does play into a factor of that.
Yeah. Like, you had a little bit of everything for OU in that game. You had a dominant defense, you had explosive plays, and then you had and then this is what I love of what OU did. And I know we're going back to Michigan, but what Oklahoma did at the end of that drive, because I know we talked about it already when you had no voice.
The 8-minute drive. Yeah.
The 8-minute drive. Oklahoma said to Michigan,
I
got this piece of pizza, Michigan, and you're going to eat it. But I don't like pizza. I don't care. You're going to eat this pizza, and I'm going to shove it down your throat, and you're going to like it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it. Now, they spit out the last piece at the very end and forced us to kick a field goal, but,
by then it doesn't matter.
By then, you go up 2 scores with a chip shot, and like, nothing else you can do. It's not like you're going to score anyway.
Yeah.
So, again, just, I got this piece of pizza, and you're going to eat it. And you have no choice. You're done.
And I could tell you the person I went with to the game, he went home and watched the Michigan game from the broadcast. He's like, bro, broadcast was great. He's like, I know we were there, but man, they really showed like how electric that stadium was, how good the game. He's like, there was stuff that I couldn't see from the seat, but he's like,
you can hate ESPN for a number of things, but when there's a big atmosphere, they know how to showcase it.
Yeah. And he said he was impressed. Like, he said, now he is a big NFL person. He said this felt like an NFL game. at that point. And I said,
Yeah,
that's how I felt these big games are. I'm like, this isn't. He's gone to 2 games.
This is
One was
why
Arkansas State.
This is why you stripe the stadium for games like Michigan and not for garbage other games like.
But I hate striping. I understand why, but I just hate striping.
No, but it looks good when you have a big game against a helmet you recognize, as opposed to. I hate when they stripe the stadium for garbage teams. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Really?
yeah.
What do you do? If this is the game you get recruits to come for, some garbage game? It's like people will be excited for a half, but they're not going to bring that energy for 4 quarters. Like, you need a team. You need a team that can give you a little pushback and make the game exciting for all the way through. Like, it almost it almost benefited Oklahoma to have the game need to go all 4 quarters because you had everyone's attention. Nobody left.
I mean, all 10 minutes. Yeah, nobody did. Like, that stadium was packed about 30 to 45 minutes before, and people stayed. That's why traffic was so horrendous.
Yeah, people
after the game.
Having the game just a little bit, just that little sliver of doubt, and then you saw them just like drive it down the field and just like, no, we're just gonna. I'm gonna pass the ball 2 or 3 times, and we're just gonna. And Javonte Barnes gonna get a run.
Yeah,
John Mateer's gonna run. We're gonna do what we want, and we'll see if they continue that on Saturday, and it'll be very boring. And we need to be talking about cartoons and shit or whatever nerdy shit we're into at the time. And people are like, "What are you guys talking about nerdy stuff? Talk about the game." It's like, dude, it's 52-3. What do you want me to do?
I mean, it's what you've told me, like, for the Illinois State. Like, did you do a prediction video? No, I'm proud of you. There's nothing. Temple's the same way outside of building upon the blocks.
Well, I'm gonna say a lot of the same things I said here when I do a quote unquote video about it. But it's not about winning or losing. That's like, you should do that. It's the fact that be invisible. No one should be talking about you. Period. Like, outside of like, hey, where there was a big play by Javonte Barnes or something. Okay, cool. But that's it. Like, I want this game to be boring as hell. And
do you think a lot of people are worried this is going to be a not let down, but like a hangover game? Do you expect that?
I expect Temple to have a play here or there that make people lose their minds. I'm not because they're a better football team they were last year. That doesn't mean they're gonna die. That doesn't mean I expect, like, Illinois State had a couple of plays where they got through. Okay. You corrected it and they moved on. We had one really bad bust against Michigan. It was bad, but they fixed it.
Yeah.
If Temple gets a big play for whatever reason, it's like, okay, we're still working on certain things here and there. They're going to make adjustments. But Temple doesn't have any players that scare me. Their quarterback is nice, and I know, like, their coach went on local Philadelphia radio and talked about how Parker Thune's comments are going to motivate them.
Oh yeah, that's what we mentioned earlier. It's like, that's nice. Like, it still doesn't change its truth. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm glad the recruits had it, and I'm glad that.
I mean,
did we
that Parker Thune moment was the biggest tech bust since he announced we had a new defensive coordinator from Ohio State on our staff. But anyway,
yeah, don't listen to
the video went public when it wasn't supposed to.
Sure, Parker. Did we actually flip anybody specifically, or did they just enjoy their time and, like, they were still like, well, I'm considering this school?
I don't. Well, you got to remember, like, 2026 guys is not going to be. There were some 2026 guys there. The focus is on 2027 and forward. You're not gonna get a lot of 2026 guys right now. It's like, can they flip? Those flips are going to come later in the year. The more Oklahoma does. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, this is a game where this is the first step to say, hey, Cooper Hackett, I know you committed to Tech and nobody actually believes you that you committed to Tech for, because you really want to go there. Like, Cooper Hackett committed to Tech because he wanted to make sure he had a spot somewhere that was going to pay him.
Sure.
Cooper Hackett more than likely wants to go to Oklahoma. Because if you watch interviews where he talks about Oklahoma and talks about Bill Bedenbaugh, he talks about them way differently than he talks about anybody else.
Sure.
So if Oklahoma is not total garbage and they come, I don't expect them to match Tech's NIL offer, but if you come close and your program is back on track,
yeah,
he's got 18 months to figure this out. So people panic. I'm not worried about 2027 guys who may or may not. It's like 2027. Like if we can keep the momentum going, 27 has a chance to be really special as a class.
Yeah.
So I expect good news on Monday. I don't know why you wouldn't right now, because it's us, SC, and LSU. And from what I understand, LSU is looking at a different picture for quarterback.
Yeah.
So, and as for USC, it's like
they get guys, but then they decommit almost immediately too.
Well, it's not even that. It's like, does Peyton Houston want to go out there and
no?
Do I want to play?
Let's be honest, no.
Do I want to play 11 p.m. games at Michigan State, or do I want to play in the SEC where I'm going to have like 3:30 and 8:30 games? And
you're telling me he wouldn't be excited to play the midnight sicko challenge games?
Like SC, like Michigan State is going to Los Angeles to play an 11 p.m. Eastern kick.
Yeah,
that's fucking insane. That they
it's hysterical.
But it's hysterical that it happens, that it's happening to Michigan State specifically, because Michigan State is a brand, but when you live in the same state as Michigan and they're like the brand along with a handful of others, it's like so annoying to be a Michigan State fan. It's like Michigan State is a legitimate top 15, top 20 program, no questions asked, but they still have to be that, like, they have to be that second fiddle. And it's because they actually deserve to have attention from time to time, unlike some other second, little brother schools, so to say. And they hate that shit too. The little brother comment was invented by Michigan. That's who invented that shit. It's comical that's who it's happening to. I am going to make it a point to watch that game.
Gavin was like, I'm going to go to bed, and I'm
going to make it a point to watch that game because I think Michigan State can beat them. I think now, but I don't think Michigan State no world beater, but I don't think USC is either. So,
but Sean, if Michigan USC goes to midnight on the West Coast and nobody's up to watch it, do they actually beat USC? That's the question.
Please, like on a Saturday night, what else am I going to do? If there's a football game on, I'm watching it.
Taking the Hawaii, well, yeah, because otherwise you're taking the Hawaii challenge.
Yeah.
Well, I went unless Hawaii's playing someone worth a shit, but no, I'm usually up till 2 a.m. anyway, so it's like, okay, if it's like, I will probably do my best. If the game is like well in hand, I'll probably fall asleep, but if it's interesting, I'll keep watching it. I want to see what Aiden Childs does in Los Angeles. That'll be fun. But for USC to get a literal night game, like a regular West Coast night game, and like poor old Michigan State, 11 p.m. their body clocks are at 11 p.m. and they're playing football game. If they pull that off, they deserve bonus points for that win. Seriously.
It's so funny because they're like, why is Michigan State that's happening to us? We're the ones in this conference. We own this. They're throwing a bone to USC, my man. Your brain is not as big as USC. That's why. So is what it is. So guys, let's wrap up. Sean, thank you for joining tonight. Got any last minute thoughts?
I like Wednesdays. They're fun because I get to go out and hang out with friends and stuff. And on here tonight, so Wednesdays are fun.
Yeah. Gavin, go ahead. Sorry.
And the new season of Wednesday is on Netflix. I need to watch it. So
it's true. Gavin, any final thoughts?
Another reason to love Wednesdays.
Yep. Gavin, any final thoughts?
No, you know what's better than Wednesdays are Fridays.
TGI Fridays.
Down on Friday. Partying.
Yeah.
In a very robotic voice.
Fun.
Guys, thank y'all for joining tonight. Be sure everybody to comment, rate, subscribe, like, hit the notification so you know when we go live. Post-game video, there may not be a lot to talk about, but post-game will be same time, usual time on Sunday as we analyze Temple and get ready for Auburn. So thanks again, guys. Boomer Sooner, only one. We'll see everybody here in a couple days. Later.
See ya.